Hello, I'm standing in front of a statue of Peter I. This city is 320 years old. Each city in Russia has a day to celebrate its history. There you can see he's quite an impressive fellow. He was very tall, very commanding, and did a lot of great things to solidify the Russian Empire. Right now you're going to see some people in costume walking by on your left to honor and celebrate the Russian history. Quite beautiful costumes they're wearing. And it's a really lovely day to be out for a walk in Petrozavodsk. We're going to be taking a walk along the waterfront. I'm going to be sharing with you some of my impressions being in this great city, in this great country today, and some of my impressions from things I've been seeing on the news and current events. Catching a look here at the opening of the city day here, and we're going to have some of the politicians speaking a little later. But right now, this is a celebration of the costumes of the time of Peter I. Really quite interesting for me to look at as a Westerner, because this was something that I was obviously interested in when I started learning about Russia when I was over there. The costumes and the style of dance and the style of culture that was here at the time. Obviously, it's very much influenced by France, and this is what Peter I did. He brought a lot of culture from Europe here, and for anyone who's taken a look at St. Petersburg, it's one of the most striking architectural cities I've ever seen, and a lot of the inspiration came from Europe, and the amount of influence that Peter I had on Russia is really difficult to measure. Right now you're looking at some of the politicians who are celebrating the official opening of the day. They are speaking in Russian. Russian is a very, very difficult language for anyone that wants to learn it. I've been trying very earnestly for about 3 years now, and I can get my mind around a small, short page, and I'm trying to pass the test to be a permanent citizen and resident here because I really want to live here. But it's a very difficult language, but it's very beautiful at the same time, and I intuitively thought this when I read a lot of Russian books translated into English, because the type of thoughts that are able to be communicated in Russian are very difficult to communicate in English or French, for that matter. For example, a word like gardenia and gardest, this means pride, but gardenia is a bad type of pride and gardest is a good type of pride. This would be very difficult to explain to people right now in a certain demographic in Western civilization. Other words like dosha means soul, which the Russians laugh because the English call soul the bottom of the foot. Like, that's the last place your soul would be. There are endless different ways to structure sentences, and it is a very beautiful language. Again, I really hope to one day be able to speak it at a level that's passable. Right now, I'm more like about a 4 or 5 year old, but I can sort of understand sometimes.
Каждый год участвует в проведении турниров и соревнований по этим видам спорта. Валерий Александрович внес серьезный.
You're looking at a kvass stand. Probably for anyone reading this in English, that's hard to see that, but for me, actually, it's pretty easy. Kvass is a very popular drink here, similar to beer, but there's no alcohol in it, and it's very refreshing, made with wheat, and it would be very nice to just snap my fingers and have a glass right now. Спасибо. До свидания. We are looking at some of the souvenir stands along the waterfront here. This is traditional Karelian attire. It's something new for me to see. Very beautiful designs and colors, and flowing sash there. And this goes back very rich history, Scandinavian influences over 1,000 years. So this is still a tradition that the people here keep up, and you can walk along here and look at some of the other different things that they have for sale to celebrate the tradition and culture of the people of Karelia. This is a stand selling Karelian honey, which is very well known, I'm told, all over Russia for being particularly good tasting. You might enjoy this in your tea, you might enjoy this on some toast. I have had some Karelian honey and I really enjoy it as well. And in fact, maybe we'll go and buy some a little bit later and enjoy that with our lunch. Sure. Alright. Oh, now we're looking at some other traditional Karelian food. I particularly enjoy this. In fact, I pretty much have something like this every day here. You can get this very cheaply in the grocery stores, very fresh every day, and it's really quite good. I mean, compared to some of the food I had when I was in the West, this fresh pastries and sausages and things that they make here, it's really quite good. So anyone who is into food, I would really suggest coming out here and taking a look at some of the local delicacies in Karelia. All right. Looking at a traditional Russian boat, and nowadays they're using more advanced boats, certainly, the Russians, but you also see some other sailboats out there and some yachts. People out enjoying this beautiful weather. It's going to be very hot today. It's going to be about 29 degrees, and you can actually swim in this lake. We do go swimming in there sometimes. And you can take a ride in here if you want in the traditional boats, and they'll show you around. You can go to the other side of that lake there. There's a beautiful forest there, and there's a little mountain. They call it Devil's Stool. And you can go and sit there, and there's hardly anyone out there. Beautiful, beautiful trees and plants and flowers. And it really is a peaceful place to be in Karelia. You can see why it's very popular, and lots of people are out here today enjoying the beautiful, beautiful weather. Starting the Let's see what they're going to do here. We've got some umbrellas. Doesn't look like it's going to...
Заботы, их ждет прекрасный выходной. А вот из офиса коллеги, забыв о всех своих делах, по парку, весело общаясь, идут с мороженым в руках. Спешит курьер заказ доставить, рабочий день закончить свой, чтоб вечером концерт увидеть и всех друзей позвать с собой.
Внимание! Говорит Москва. Передаем важное правительственное сообщение. Граждане и гражданки Советского Союза, сегодня в 4 часа утра без всякого объявления войны германские вооруженные силы атаковали границы Советского Союза.
Карельской столицы.
Снег, когда на нем от крови пятна, смех забывает, что он смех, когда потери невозвратны. Ребенок может на войне
Заставило финское командование покинуть город. Утром 28 июня 1944 года группа десантников Онежской военной флотилии вошла в Петрозаводск. Жители города увидели катера и бежали к пирсу встречать освободителей.
Если мы вместе, мы непобедимы. Держи меня крепче за руку. Мы не разделимы.
You can buy bicycles here, you can buy motorcycles here, you can buy, what are those called, quads? I don't know. But if you want to take them out, I mean, there's some beautiful trails to explore here, certainly. And all this is set up here for all the citizens to come out. Oh, look, there's some bigger, more advanced ones there. We are just walking away from the very emotional concert, and it's very inspirational to watch the young dancers and singers here. They do maintain a traditional system in their performances. And you know, I grew up over in the West when all the time you'd see some guy trying to dance like a girl or some girl trying to dance like a guy. You pretend you like it, but you really don't like it. It's really nice to see the traditional roles maintained in the culture. And I'm not afraid to say, I mean, maybe I'm a little afraid to say it, but I'm saying it. Front. And I'm sure if you wanted to, you could take a little tour on one of the horses. I'm a little bit afraid. I don't think I'd be up for it myself, but if you want, it's here. It looks like that horse has wings. Or maybe that's a costume. I'm not sure. Let's wait a second. Maybe I'll start with usually it's a good idea to start with e4, playing an open game, and then usually my opponent will start with something like e5. Maybe I feel a little bit adventurous today. I'll play a King's Gambit. Of course, he's going to take it. And then I'm going to bring my bishop out very aggressively to c4. My impressions of this day here have been quite emotional, actually. It's been very emotional to see how the people are remembering a different version of World War II than I was taught in school. And again, it's really nice to see them celebrating traditional roles in the family and traditional roles in the culture. And that's something we'll be talking about in the next video. If there's any questions you have or anything you want to see here, please let me know in the comments section. Thanks.